That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Jason David Frank.
Boom shakalaka.
Please do not change channel.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter, and we are here on the floor at Megacon 2018. We're hanging with artists, authors, filmmakers, musicians, creators, 3 homeless guys outside that I stopped to talk to. Like
2 of them are here.
That guy, Dennis. You know the guy. All right.
I know him, yeah.
So anyway, we're here right now on the floor of Megacon 2018. We're hanging with Tommy James and Eddie Rodriguez. Tommy, Eddie, thanks for hanging with me, man.
I'm Tommy.
Tommy?
I'm Eddie.
That's Eddie. You guys know Eddie.
Big Eddie. Yeah,
Big Eddie.
Big money,
That's
right?
what I'm saying. These are the guys with Second Rounds Florida edition.
Yes, sir.
Because they also got Second Rounds
New York edition.
Yeah.
That's how we all started. It all started in New York, in Brooklyn.
This is the brains behind the operation.
I'm the founder, I guess
The
you could say.
founder.
The founder, the runner,
All right, guys,
the man.
listen. Tell us about Second Rounds, man.
So pretty much it all started in Brooklyn, New York. I recently moved down here 7 months ago, so I decided to bring in a Florida edition of the same exact show. We're a no-filter show. We drink on the show as well, so don't let your kids, no kids, don't let kids watch the show. And pretty much we do a lot of pop culture. Everything's really based on pop culture, movies, television. Comic books is more Big Money's way to do things.
That's his thing?
Comic books.
He's more of the literature.
Things with words.
Yeah.
Things with words. Yeah, I got you.
I like
with
I like pictures, you
and
know.
people speak.
Verbiage.
I
give the verbiage. How to do.
All right, so what? All right, so you're sitting at home one day and you're like, hey, I just want to talk about pop culture. I want people to listen. What's up?
Literally, it was just sitting on a couch one day with me and my boys back in Brooklyn, and we're just, rummaging, just talking random stuff. And I'm like, we think we're funny. Let's see if the world thinks we're funny. So we ended up saying, screw it. We sat down.
So, did you guys think they were funny?
You know we were funny.
They knew they were funny.
You knew it. You
That's
knew
right.
we were funny because that's what we are.
That's what you do.
We're a bunch of clowns.
But what made us famous, what made the New York edition famous, and Florida's doing the same thing, not as a copy paste.
Being here with us.
Obviously.
That's what it was. That's number 2.
That's number 2.
Okay, what was
number 1 is the Who You Got Challenge, which basically we take 4 characters from movies, 4 characters from video games, 4 characters from TV, and 4 characters from comic book, and we put them in an NCAA bracket style tournament where they fight against each other. And then now in Megacon, what we do is every one of us who participates takes their character who won the bracket, and then the fans and the different people who have booths here vote for who would win in that challenge. So we got people participation.
We're going to ask you.
I like that. I like that.
Right now.
Okay.
You tell us who you got. So you got the Masked Stanley Ipkiss from the Dark Horse Comics, not Jim Carrey.
Okay.
Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones. Ooh. Dr. Lord Zedfade, who's Lord Zed from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yes.
Just put on Dr. Fate's helmet.
Okay.
And
Cosmic Ghost Rider.
And Cosmic Ghost Rider. Who would win in a battle?
Oh, wow. See, now, the logic in me, I'm kind of leaning with some Cosmic Ghost Rider here.
Okay.
All right? But I gotta tell you, the fanboy in me, I mean, I'm holding her for the long shot for Brienne of Tarth. You know what I'm saying? The long shot in me says I want to bet on the long shot because, let's face it, don't underestimate Brienne of Tarth.
She's a tough lady.
That's a badass lady. But yeah, I gotta say Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Okay.
All right, so Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Ashley almost had herself. Almost. She has literally Brienne of Tarth is 0 right now.
She's badass.
Yeah, there you go.
She really is. But I mean, when you're putting her up against these cosmic entities.
Yeah. It's a no-brainer.
It is. All I can think of is you guys, up in arms as everybody was. I enjoyed so much watching The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Only because I thought that they did a good job of kind of thumbing their noses at all of our expectations.
Yeah, definitely.
So it was nice from scene 1 to see Luke go, yeah, whatever. And then later on for him to look over, and that's what I think of with Brienne of Tarth in this situation, is I think, Luke Skywalker standing there going, and you want me to do what with a laser sword? Really?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, I'm going to take on the whole First Order with a laser sword. And that's Brienne of Tarth. Like, I'm going to take on these guys with a sword. Good luck with that.
You never know what could happen.
Yeah,
I mean,
you never know.
That's
true.
We had one of the best matchups ever, which was Darth Vader versus Princess Twilight Sparkle.
Back in
My
New York.
Little Pony, back in New York.
Back in New York.
And Princess Twilight Sparkle won.
Smoked him.
And it's ridiculous.
This is how the people
It
vote.
was my
at the
character.
end of
I
the
went
day.
to New York
right.
City
This is
Comic
how
Con with a
people go.
pony, I swear to God.
Wow.
It was very, very disappointing. I lost, by the way.
Guys, pop culture is a vast sea these days of properties and fantastic offerings.
Yes, definitely.
But this is a bigger sea than we've ever had before.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I think the mainstreaming of what was once subculture into pop culture. Where do you guys come from? What's your favorite universe to mess with?
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers?
Yeah.
It's a Power Ranger
Been
guy.
a diehard Power Ranger fan since I was a kid. My name is Tommy. I am the Green Ranger.
You know this.
That's right.
You know this. You know this, man.
No, but fine.
He's just a shorter Green Ranger. That's
Yeah,
all.
with shorter hair.
Shorter hair.
With
Shorter hair.
not as much
right.
martial arts. Some
We
martial
had-
arts.
we had-
I'm a third Dan black belt in Taekwondo, so I do have martial arts.
Taekwondo, it's like the...
What the hell, man? What's wrong
He
with
just
You're like
keeps
the
going.
giant
He
cult
just
of
doesn't let him
martial
up,
arts.
man. He doesn't let
He's
him
not
up. He
going to
keeps
let me
going.
until I finally
We
morph.
were
Then
fortunate
different.
enough to have JDF come on the show
Really?
last year.
sweet.
Oh my
He was
goodness.
amazing. He's so
He
gracious.
is a sweetheart. He is a sweetheart. I've
And
had
talk
both.
about a guy that just is loving the fandom.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. He accepts who he is.
In 25 years and multiple iterations, he's the only Power Ranger that has literally been in almost every single iteration of Power Rangers.
Almost, yeah.
And I was just like, man, that is so amazing to see that. Even as he gets older, even just a walk on for the movie, you know, hey, how you doing? I'm here.
And I still remember when him and Amy Jo Johnson showed up, that cameo, the theater went off.
Power Ranger movie, yeah,
Oh
theater
my
went
God,
off.
yeah.
Did y'all know this is a little piece of pop culture trivia? We learned this from JDF. The day he went to see the movie, he wanted to take a shot with his phone of his cameo. He got thrown out of the theater for taking his phone out.
Yeah.
And he missed his own cameo. I thought that was just fantastic. You know, so it is great.
My case.
What about you? What do you like? What's your favorite?
See, I have a major geek, major nerd.
geek
yeah.
nerd, okay.
So, but I will say my top three. I would say so. It's Star Wars, Star Trek, and Lord of the Rings. These are my three. Like that's how that's why I grew up with. I also love Power Rangers.
We got the cerebral and the sci-fi fantasy, and then the ultimate, Tolkien dive into the fantasy.
Yeah,
You're like a good pie chart.
Yeah. He's like everything, and he's like, I'm not going to miss anything if I grab 3 titles that include everybody else.
Yeah, right. Everybody will love you now.
Everybody will love you now.
Exactly.
He wants to be popular. But let's face it, this is the internet. We all want to be popular,
Obviously.
right? The thing is that we can do it.
Yeah. That's why we're here.
That's right. Okay, so guys, Infinity Wars. It's not too soon now for us to do
definitely.
to actually talk.
Yeah, if you didn't see it.
If you didn't
that's
see it
your
by
fault.
now,
It's your fault.
look, I'm just
it's a
saying,
month in.
you bring Kleenex and a dustbuster.
Yes.
And it's a good day. Just
Or a
saying.
vacuum if you want to be
Vacuum cleaner
disrespectful.
if you want to take it with you. Take a little piece.
Maybe like a
You know what?
leaf
What I
blower
remember,
if you
I don't know if
want to scatter it out.
I know you might remember the Adam West Batman when
Yeah.
they turned them into dust,
Yes.
and then they just clean them up and put them in little jars.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Little label on the side, yeah.
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man,
Doctor
yeah.
Strange,
You know,
Black Panther.
Guys, everybody, we all knew what was coming. Infinity Wars. We walked into the theater knowing this is where we clean house. At least in the first Infinity Wars part.
Yeah.
So this is where we clean house. Biggest surprise.
My biggest surprise, honestly, as a fan, I would say that none of the deaths surprised me too much, because I kind of know where they're heading. If you know what the cast that remained, it's basically the first cast of Avengers from the Avengers film.
Yeah.
But in terms of surprise, just seeing Red Skull come back,
That was cool.
I squeed.
That was cool.
Squeed.
It was really cool because we've been hearing in the background that this character, didn't die. It's out there in the universe, which made everybody go, yes, thank you.
Yeah, well, like,
can't kill the main
I thought
adversary.
that was really one of the best scenes. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the movie's great. Like, I have a 3-year-old that went to go see the movie, with me. He fell asleep, but he woke up at that scene, and I look at him, I go, "Who's that?" And he's like, "Red Skull," and I'm like,
That's
"Boy,
right.
there."
Parenting done right.
Not Hugo Weaving though.
No, not Hugo.
Wasn't Hugo
That's the
Weaving.
unfortunate part, but just having Red Skull back was amazing. And perhaps the most wonderful thing about that film is, personally, as a comic fan, I'm not a huge fan of Thanos.
Okay.
I find him kind of...
I actually think in the film variation of Thanos,
Bingo.
I think they gave him more depth.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
He wasn't. It is a benefit to this kind of storytelling that you can add dimension to characters that on the page are very flat, very two-dimensional. A bad guy's a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's driven by one thing, to do bad things.
Yeah.
But on film, when you're humanizing them, you have to give them a motivation. You have to give them a backstory. You have to give them something that makes them, for years they didn't.
Yeah.
We all remember the baddest of the bad guys. As Darth Vader walks on screen, he's instantly evil.
Yep.
Yeah, that's bad guy.
That's a bad guy.
It's
Period.
black. It's all that.
And then,
It's bad guy.
And it was 20 years before they decided to go back and address the fact that the bad guy doesn't actually think of himself as a bad guy.
Right.
Oh, I agree 100%.
And so now we do that more and more and more. And Thanos is a great.
Oh no,
example.
and an example is like in the comics, just him being a little emo brat that just wants to make Death fall in love with him. Like it worked in the comic and everything, but I never related to that. Now taking that Malthusian trap of like, population's increasing, resources are decreasing. What do we do to balance it out? His solution, which was the wrong solution, but there's nobility in the intent.
It asks a relevant question.
Yes, exactly.
Look, we all love a good love story.
Yeah.
Especially sort of that Romeo and Juliet dark tragedy love story. But moreover than that, I think when it comes to comic fans and pop culture fans, we want you to ask us relevant questions.
Yes.
Questions relevant to our times.
Right. Yeah.
And provide us with evil, horrible answers. Like that is not the answer. Go around, kill half the people.
Yeah, no,
That's
exactly.
sort of not the way we're going to do it. It reminds
Is it,
me.
though?
Well, you know what? What did they say?
That's the point of the movie. Is it though?
The satirical answer during the Great Potato Famine in Ireland.
Yep.
The satirical answer was eat the children.
Yep.
It was satirical and it was ridiculous, but at the same time, it posed the question: we have too many people, not enough food. What do we do about that? Well, we eat the kids.
Yeah, somebody's got to get eaten.
The good thing is one of the answers to the Malthusian trap, which is basically that. The answer would be basically population dies out because of starvation. Population dies, resources then are balanced again.
It's a natural consequence.
It's a natural consequence, so it's cycul. It always happens.
I should have brought my notepad, man. I would have learned so much today.
Snap your fingers and they're all gone. I think that might be taking it a little too far. And okay, guys. I personally, I've been saying this for days. Whenever I get a chance to talk about it, on the screen. I want to say the best performance delivered in that entire movie, Tom Holland's death.
I have to.
That man
Yeah.
delivered an acting performance. I knew that it was coming.
Yeah.
Everything about that was entirely story predicted.
Yeah.
And yet I still felt a gut punch because that kid brought it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I felt it.
Yeah,
I looked
yeah.
at my kid at that moment. I was like, damn, like you feel
Yeah.
it because
Man, I'm not. It's a comic book movie. I ain't gonna cry.
I'm
There's
crying.
somebody next to me, bawling. And I'm just like, it's a movie, man. Don't worry, Tom Holland's got a number 2 coming out.
When and where can people find you guys and your podcast on?
So for the Florida edition, you can find us every Sunday. We can be found on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram.
3 or 4 that they're
Twitter.
inventing this weekend.
Yeah,
It's literally going to be all over the place. It's 2 ND rounds. Yes, 2. Now don't put second. You got to put 2 ND rounds. And also Podbean.
Bobby, you can find us on Spotify as well.
Spotify.
iTunes,
And now we're actually a part of the Podcast City Network.
Awesome.
Which is podcastcity.net, where you can go. You can find our show and the New York show, which records every Thursday.
Awesome.
And lots of the other guys there.
They have a lot of
Chris
great shows.
Yeah.
Plus, we also have another show technically under our brand that's not second round, the Phoenix Gate.
The Phoenix
which
Gate,
is another, which is a
definitely.
girl from Queens in New York. She's got her own show every Wednesday.
Yep.
So
Nice.
it's always found.
You guys are building a
we're
digital
building it.
media.
Oh yeah, we're
Yes.
building it.
So
That is
but surely.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. She's gonna hold that damn card up until I say goodbye.
We can talk more.
That's the I gotta shut up card. Yeah. You got somebody behind on the show that does that to you? Walks up and goes, stop it.
Yeah, that's me.
See, that's him.
That's me going.
Yeah,
Guys, it's almost 2 hours. We got to stop.
Guys, when we say goodbye, we're going to say thank you to our partners and friends at Something Unique Magazine, Famous Faces and Funnies, Krypton Radio, Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason, Space Coast Comics, Asylum Convention Entertainment Services for all their hard work in bringing us into Megacon. We want to thank Megacon 2018 and Fan Expo for bringing us in here. We want to thank these guys from Second Rounds, Florida Edition, for coming and hanging out with us today. Remember, everybody, subscribe, please, now. Log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Smash that button.
Boom.